When Joy finished her college and she was lucky to get a job immediately after graduating, she was taking home 45,000 Kenyan shillings. And as she settled in Nairobi, continued working, and 10 months down the line, she's looking at her bank account and she has nothing to show for the job she has been working in Nairobi. And every other time she's always living for the payday, because when the money comes and after 5 days or 6 days, the money is gone and she cannot account where the money is going, even though she's paying her rent, she's buying food, and she's also having enough money for fare to and from work. Although sometimes before the payday, she normally takes a mobile loan to substitute the days that are remaining before her payday. And this is a story that is familiar to most of us. You find that you get paid, and when it's 1 year down the line, 10 months down the line, you have nothing to show. You cannot say you have saved an X amount of money, or you are even able to sustain yourself throughout the month. If this sounds like you, then you're in the right place, because in this video, I'm going to break down how you can budget when you are earning 45,000 or less, and how to save for as well, so that you can achieve your financial goal, to make sure that this story of Joy is not continuous or it's not similar in your life as years goes by. Before we get into the video, I would like to introduce you to an ebook that I've written from my personal experience of working online. I've been able to compile different online jobs that you can work in different career category. For instance, if you are in accounting, if you're in healthcare, if you are a teacher, if you are a software developer, if you are a graphic designer, if you are an architecture, if you're in HR, you are a receptionist. Every career, I have broken it down in every single chapter to tell you the kind of jobs that you can look for online. This book is a guideline to guide you on areas that you can look for job. And the most important thing, or the best part of this book, is the introduction. I have written my story. I have shared with you my story on how I began my online hustling or online jobs until today. I am 11 years in and I'm loving it. So to get this book, check in the description below. There is a link. Purchase the book and it will automatically be sent to your email. Currently, I am running an offer for the first 30 days where I will be selling this book 700 shillings, so you can save 300. So if I were you, I would grab this opportunity to buy this book at 700 Kenyan shillings instead of waiting for 1 month and then buy it at 1,000 Kenyan shillings. So let's get back to the video. In this video, I'm going to use a friendly framework, a friendly budget framework, which is 60-30-10 rule, where 60% covers your needs, 30% covers your wants, and 10% goes towards your savings or investments, depending on where you are at. Let's start breaking down 60% of the needs that a 45,000 salary will take care of, and 60% of 45,000, it's 27,000 Kenyan shillings. So how do you break this down? This person, you imagine, is living in a bed sitter, is a single person living in a bed sitter, paying a rent of 10,000 Kenyan shillings, and then monthly food budget is 7,000 Kenyan shillings. Matatu, when you are using matatu to commute to and from work, it's 5,000 Kenyan shillings. And then utilities, we have things like tokens, water bills, and that can be around 3,000 Kenyan shillings. So with that, you are able to set aside 27,000 shillings from 45,000 to take care of your needs. And another thing that I'd forgotten to mention is 2,000 shillings, which goes for gas and toiletries and other things that you have not budgeted for, because there will be always something that comes up through in the month that you need to take care of and you do not have money. So the 2,000 can also be used for miscellaneous. And the best way to stick to this 6% of income to spend it on your needs is to shop in bulk. Make sure you have a significant amount of items, or you are aware of the items that you use at the end of the month. If it is toilet, if it is food, if it is water bills, you have groceries, you need to have a figure in mind that you know if you buy things worth this much or quantity of this much, you are able to survive throughout the month without going back to buy the same things again in the shop, especially things that do not spoil. Maybe you can just remain with the groceries because those ones you'll have to buy every other week. When it comes to taking care of the ones, which is 30% of your income, and for this example, it's 13,500 Kenyan shillings, where our persona will budget like data and airtime. It can be around 1,500 shillings. If you are someone who likes to stream, that is entertainment, you can do 1,500. This person does self-care salon, which is 3,000, which includes hair and making your nails. Then you also budget for clothes and shoes because you may need to buy clothes, obviously, to look better when you're going to work, and shoes. Another thing is eating out, because managing your finances does not mean you do not enjoy what you work for. The only thing is you enjoy with a limit, or make sure you've budgeted your enjoyment, where in this case the eat outs can take 3,000, and then there is gifts, giving, donations, offering, which can take 2,000 shillings every month. So in this budget, we can see that clothes and shoes, you can buy them every other month, but it's not a must you buy every other month. If you already have enough clothes, then you can redirect this amount of money towards investment. You can say, this month I will buy clothes, but next month the significant amount of money, which is 2,500, you can forward it to your investment and then continue growing your investments. Now the 10%, which is 4,500, this is how you can break it down. You can say 2,000, which can go to an emergency fund. And then if you have chamas, you can contribute 1,500, and then saving for a side hustle, which is 1,000. It is important that the moment you get an employment, you start saving or putting aside amount for investment. Even if you do not have any business idea when you are starting your employment, just set aside that amount of money, because things change. You could be employed in your early 20s. Obviously, you may not have a desire to run a business or to start anything, which is normal, but do not assume that you will not need it when you come to your 30s. As you grow older, your financial needs also change, and also you interact with people, you network, and you understand that you can actually run a business while you are employed. Now this money will come in handy. But if you do not save for this, like most of us do, we just get employed, and provided we pay rent and you have food and fare to go to work, that's all. We just squander the rest of the money. And when 5 years down the line or 6 years down the line, you are like, I want to start something, you don't have money. And then now you start feeling like it will take you long to save that money. Because if you are told to save 1,000 Kenya shillings for your side hustle, you are like, I will only have saved 12,000 Kenya shillings, which is true. But if you start when you get employed and start putting aside 1,000, 3 years down the line, that is 36,000. I'm sure that is a good amount of money that you can use to start a business, either online or sell products or have a service-based business that you can do like a side hustle. Breaking down your salary will help you direct your money and tell it where to go, instead of just spending and then at the end of the month you are waiting for the payday because you've already cleared your money. Maybe you've taken a mobile loan to sustain you before you get paid, and then now when you get paid, the cycle continues. Here are common mistakes that you need to avoid if you want to stick to this budget rule, which is 60, 30, 10% rule. Is do not count loan money or your Fuliza limit or M-Shwari limit as your source of income. Most of the people count such loans as their source of income because they are easily accessible on your phone, and that makes you overspend during the month because you already know you have a backup plan. But the only thing you need to know is anytime you take a loan, you are spending your future money at an interest. So when you borrow 5,000, you have borrowed 5,000 from your future money, and you are paying it with an interest, which means you are losing money. Another mistake is many people do is having unplanned expenses. When it comes to financial development and financial planning, it's not about making your life miserable such that you cannot enjoy. You cannot go and buy yourself that meal that you like. You cannot buy yourself that clothes that you like, or you cannot buy yourself a phone that you love. That is not the goal. The goal is to spend while you have planned for that spending. It's not an impromptu. You know, right now you have a phone, it's functioning, but there is a certain phone that you are eyeing, you want to buy. Then you can plan with your finances. You can say, let me set aside 1,500 shillings every month at the end of the year. Then you'll be able to buy that phone that you want, or after 2 years, because there will be always new phones in the marketplace, and you'll always need a phone. So you can budget for it and plan for it, instead of saying you want a phone and you buy it out of emotions. You have not planned for it, so you take a loan, or you opt to lipa mdogo mdogo plans, which at the end of the day you'll be paying more than buying a phone in cash. That's why financial development is about planning your expenses. Plan for your fun outings, plan for your clothing, plan for your mini projects that you want to achieve at the end of the year or at the end of 6 months, depending on where you are at financially. The other thing that most people do is over budgeting for wants. Remember, wants are things that you can live without, while needs are things that you cannot live without. So do not over budget for your wants and forget about savings and investments, because when you forget about your savings and investments, then it means you'll have nothing to show. After working in a place for 3 years, it can even be 5 years, some people even 10 years down the line, they still have nothing to show. They are still living paycheck to paycheck. So the thing is, live within this budget and then make sure that you maintain your wants. You don't overspend and use money that you could have used for investment or savings. Another mistake many people do is not prioritizing an emergency fund account. An emergency fund account is very important, and the moment you get an employment, it's important that you start saving a significant amount of money towards your emergency fund, because the emergency fund is what will help you in case that you want to do transition from one career to another, or one job to another, or a job can end abrupt without any notice and you may not have something to live on. So you can fall for your emergency fund, use it as you continue looking for another job. And also another thing is, an emergency fund gives you peace of mind. Even when you start investing, you start a business, you know, in case something does not go right, you have an account that can take care of your expenses. If you have never budgeted, the best place to start is to track down your expenses. Understand where your money is going. So you can take the whole month, every time you buy something, write it down in an Excel sheet or in a notebook, and then at the end of the month, look at it and ask yourself, where does most of your money go to? Is it in the category of needs? Is it in the category of wants? Or is it in the category of investments? Once you get this clear picture of where your money is going to, then it becomes easier for you now to budget, to know that, yes, I'm overspending in my wants, or I'm overspending in my needs, or I am not even saving for my investment. Then you can now have this plan. You can have the 60, 30, 10% rule, and then start implementing it in the following month. And the goal is to be consistent. When you are consistent is when you are able to see the outcome and be able to see a difference. If you save consistently for 1 year, you'll be able to see a difference. But if you save January, then you save again in April, you save again in December, that one will not even motivate you to continue saving. The goal is to control your money, to plan for your money, because most of the time, financial issues are not about how much you earn, because you could be earning even 100K, but you are not investing, you're not saving, you're spending the entire amount in needs and also in enjoyment. You still have nothing to show. The same way someone earning 45,000, if they're also spending their entire salary, they will still have nothing to show. But what you save or what remains after you get your salary is what matters, because if someone is earning 100,000 Kenyan shillings and they are saving 1,000 every month, and someone earning 45,000 shillings is able to save 2,000 every month, definitely someone earning 45,000 shillings will be ahead at the end of the year, because that means they will have saved 24,000, while someone earning 100,000, they have saved 12,000. Another factor is what you do now with your savings. You could decide to invest, to start a side hustle, or to start a side hustle basically, and use that money to bring more income. Then that one means you have invested. That money is bringing you more. While if a similar person saving the same amount will not invest, will not do any business to bring more income, then you will still be ahead. So you can say it's not about how much you earn, it's about how you manage what you earn.